Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yeah, let me see. Here we go. So this video is supposed to be about some chick that's getting canceled for losing weight. Like I said, I haven't watched any of it, so we're gonna tap into it together and see what's good. Let me put my right one on because it's Rivah TV. All right, let's do it.
So when Remy got famous on TikTok for doing her realistic, hilarious hauls, she was over 300 pounds. Now, 2025, she looks like this. Are people mad about her weight loss? Maybe. Are people also mad because when she was bigger, she was doing these realistic try-on hauls, which were absolutely hilarious?
So go lock in. Don't be fat, because even your favorite fat influencer doesn't want to be fat.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So in this video, we're going to talk about this plus size model who actually ended up losing weight, very similar to like the Lizzo situation.
Momo, what's good? Tapping in from Instagram. Let's see what's good with this reaction video.
Except for this one, this woman lost a lot of weight and has faced a lot of backlash all over social media because of it. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, pause, play, give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on this entire situation.
For those of you with a job who don't understand why everyone's so mad at Remy Bader, let me break it down for you very easily. So when Remy got famous on TikTok for doing her realistic, hilarious hauls, she was over 300 pounds. Now, 2025, she looks like this. Are people mad about her weight loss? Maybe, but let me tell you why they're mad. Now, an interview recently came out where she admitted that she had weight loss surgery and that's how she lost the weight. Once again, that's not why people are mad. This is a TikTok that she posted on January 4th, 2025. In this video, she's going to show you the meal she's about to eat, and it's extremely misleading. She's showing off the meal, eating fries, showing the brownie she's going to eat at the end, which she never does, eating a chicken sandwich, she only takes 2 or 3 bites, covering her mac and cheese in sauce, and once again, only taking a few bites. So if you've had weight loss surgery or you know someone who has, you know they can't eat all of that. So the few bites that she took is probably all she could have eaten, and she might have even gotten sick after that. So yes, people are pissed because they were led to believe she was eating like that while losing weight. Are people also mad because when she was bigger, she was doing these realistic try-on hauls, which were absolutely hilarious?
Hold on. So y'all telling me people upset with the woman for making it appear that she eats unhealthy while she's losing weight? I don't think that's, she was eating unhealthy. She was just eating small portions of bullshit. Like, people would get mad at anything. Let's continue. Let's go, chat.
Yes, probably. But now people are coming out saying that they were asking her how she was losing the weight throughout this journey, and she would either block them or delete the comments. So she never really shared how she was losing the weight, but now that she has, people feel bamboozled.
So before I even go into the next video of, somebody else giving their take on it, I have to say this, right? Whose business is it? Like, who cares? Who cares how she lost the weight? The girl looked good. Okay, I don't care what nobody has to say about it. I don't care what nobody else's opinions are. The girl looks good. She looks good. She looks healthy. She looks like she's happy to be in the skin that she's in. Like, she looks, confident, all of the above. And I call cap on a lot of the things that the woman was saying about why people are mad. I thought it was interesting that the woman said that, when she was bigger, she did realistic try-on hauls.
People also mad because when she was bigger, she was doing these realistic try-on hauls, which were absolutely hilarious.
So because she lost weight, now her try-on hauls are not going to be realistic. Can we have the conversation of the fact that it should not be realistic if you feel like majority of the female population is overweight to the point that they are borderline obese? Why is that considered normal?
That's a great question. That becomes the question. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna let Rivah cook Rivah.
It's not normal. That's actually super unhealthy and toxic, right? It's a toxic way of thinking. Interestingly enough, a lot of these, social media influencers who are obese get bullied online from the same overweight people who supported them, because now, you know, you are not a representation for us, and so now we're against you. That don't make no sense. It's the same thing when it comes to, like, you know, the feminists, right? They're all for women choosing what they want to do. They're all for supporting other women. But unless a woman says, I want to, you know, be submissive to my husband, and I want to be a wife and mother to my husband, mother to my kids with my husband, and I want him to be the leader. Soon as a woman says that in a feminist group, even if she's a feminist herself, they kick her out. They're like, no, girl, you don't belong with us. You need to.
But see, River, you said it doesn't make sense, but it actually makes perfect sense. If you're committed to a lifestyle, if this woman was committed to a lifestyle, much like the Lizzo situation, where you had all these people buy in to this idea, whether it be body positivity or whatever the case may be, love yourself as is, whatever it is. If you got this mass populace of people who follow you predicated around such a thing, and then you go switching up on them, especially if it comes off as a drastic change, you could understand why people who were committed to a lifestyle that you no longer live looking at you like you turned on them, because essentially you did. Now, did you turn over a new leaf and a better leaf? Yeah, for sure. But did you turn on them? Yeah, both things are true. Let's go, River.
To go over there by yourself because we not with it. This is crazy. This woman did the best thing for her own health. And the people around her who have supported her are now no longer wanting to support her because now she lost weight. How about she wasn't healthy? Okay. And how about we stop coddling this mindset that it's okay to be in these spaces and be overweight and do this and do that? Like, no, we need to have the real conversation of the fact that it is detrimental to your health, to your organs. Everything has to work harder when you're over a certain size. That's just the truth.
Well, if it isn't another plus size influencer turned skinny legend, how many times is it going to need to happen for you guys to wake up? The body positivity is a scam. It is a scam. It's all about marketing. It's a finesse. You know, people go into this industry.
Hold on, two things. First off, shout out to everybody that's tapped in on Instagram right now. I see y'all. Make sure y'all keep hollering at me in the chat. I'm gonna keep checking the chat and hollering at y'all. Also, second thing, what she's talking about, body positivity is a scam. Well, along with everything else. Here's the thing about sheep. And when you are a shepherd, right, without a flock, but you see what the other people are doing with the sheep they have. Here's the thing about sheep. You can guide them and lead them wherever. Yeah, body positivity is a scam. You had to have a realization that body positivity was a scam. I didn't have to have a realization. I knew that in the dough. I'm a former fat boy. So I got big before. I know how it feels to be big. I know there is nobody overweight and cool with it. Nobody. Not one person that's overweight and cool with it. Nobody. Now, you might be a person that's technically overweight, but you got the body type you want. So like for men, for example, you could be technically overweight, but you prefer to be like a brolic style, big muscular person. So you could be technically overweight by the doctor's measurements, but you really like on some swole shit. But that's not the case for most Americans. That's a small percentage of people. Most people that's overweight, they just overweight. And when you cross over into obesity, same concept. So it's like, you talking about body positivity is a scam. Like all these people that's walking around here having a dress to camouflage their insecurities. You got to wear pants that come up over your stomach this way. And I'm saying this from a position of empathy. I used to have to do this shit. You want to wear pants that come up over your stomach this way. Or for fellas, you want to get a shirt that's tight around the shoulders, but kind of draped the rest of the way down to compensate for the fact that you got a belly and all that shit, or some extra fat on the side that you don't feel good about or whatever. Like, nobody feels great having a dress like that or deal with that shit. It's just some people are willing to put in the work and become disciplined and do something about it, and other people are not. And the ones that are not willing to put in the work, be disciplined, and do something about it, those people often like for the rest of the population to make them feel comfortable with themselves, even though you're an outward manifestation. You are an outward manifestation of your habits. So if I see a person that's 400 pounds, they don't have to tell me they're lazy. I see it. You feel me? If I see a person that, you know what I mean, what's something that's super outwardly expressive. If I see a person that suffers from really, really, really bad skin, you don't have to tell me that you eating something that you allergic to, or that you have a chemical imbalance going on that you haven't figured out yet. You don't have to tell me that. I see it. We outward manifestations of our habits. You know what I mean? So it's like people just want you to make them feel comfortable, even when they're not walking in they highest form of themselves. When in all actuality, I think what's most important is that you're being pushed in that direction, or you just around people that you know keep it real with you. You know what I mean? You may not necessarily be the type of person that need anybody to push you. You might be willing to push yourself. But at the same time, if you do start falling off or you do start tweaking, you got to know you got people around you that'll be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Look like you put on a couple, dog. What's going on with you? You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's love. But oftentimes it's seen as hate, it's seen as ridicule, it's seen as like, insult, belittling. It's seen as everything but what it is. That's love. When somebody say something to you like, hey, like, let's get on top of that. I'm looking at the Instagram comments. Said, now if she died as a big girl, they would say she ain't take her health seriously. Facts. Now if she did something about it, now it's an issue. Right. You can't win for losing with people. You can't win for losing. But let's see what else the rest of the video got.
So they can make money, get money, become famous. Like, if I was a horrible person, I'm not gonna lie, that is like one of the ways. Like, when I was like overweight, I should have probably done that, but like I'm not a terrible person, but I understand it. It makes sense. These mukbangers will use your views, will use your support. You're going to be watching them, you're going to try to relate to them. Oh my god, it's like it's your way of coping, especially if you're fat, overweight, or obese, or you're plus size yourself. You'll see these singers or these plus size models or these mukbangers and be like, oh my god, they're fat and big, they're probably even bigger than me, and I can do what they do.
Again, why are we even coddling this kind of behavior? I've seen even on social media, like different countries are like, yo, y'all got the biggest people, like all y'all big and lazy. Like that's the mentality, right? Y'all just drive up. Y'all don't got to walk nowhere. You just drive up, get the food, eat as much food as you possibly can, supersize it, king size it, double size it, and then y'all just keep on moving. And that's only one meal for the day. Like y'all big. And the problem is that a lot of women very much enjoy being coddled in their toxic ways. They, accountability, women not taking accountability doesn't just stop in the relationship sector. It stops in, it goes further. It goes into them being overweight, them thinking that, they can be as big as they want, do whatever they want. And if you say anything, you're shaming, and that's not nice, and that's not okay, and that's not right. And, you shouldn't be doing that. It's delusional. It's very delusional.
They're, romanticizing eating 10,000 calories a day. I do it too. Like, this is inspiring. And then, they go make their first $1 million and then go get whatever surgery they need to get to go become a skinny legend. Because at the end of the day, health is wealth, you guys. You should never try to, create these parasocial.
Hold on, because she double talking. Going to go get surgery to be skinny appearance does not mean you just corrected your health at all. I repeat, getting big, getting your money up, and going to go get surgery so that you can appear small has nothing to do with whether or not you're healthy. At all. At all. And I'm recovering from a surgery right now. Let me tell you, my experience with this making me look at people who voluntarily get cut on totally different. I had never had a major surgery. This was my first this shit got a 6-month recovery time. I have to learn how to walk over again. Facts. People going to go get voluntarily cut on instead of just going to the gym and eating some fucking lettuce. Listen, the recovery, the post-op, the meds, the soreness, the pain, the physical therapy, and then for women that's going to go get cosmetic surgery, the fajas, the leakage, the massage, the drain, all, man, come on, man. Y'all going to go do that voluntarily instead of just going to go do a couple burpees, going to go do a couple jumping jacks, some step aerobics, little Zumba. Is nasty work. But don't let me say nothing, because then it mean I hate all y'all, right? That's what it mean if I say something. Let's continue.
Relationships with these plus size influencers and think that, oh, it's good to be fat. It is never okay to be fat at all. You know, fat causes diseases, it causes illnesses. People always strive to be healthy, always strive to, if you are big, if you are fat, don't get fatter. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. And in this society, everybody wants to be skinny now. Like everyone wants to be skinny, right?
But it's not even just about everybody wants to be skinny, right? Because I think that there's a limit and there's a boundary. It's not that everybody wants to be the slimmest person in the room and everybody wants to fit into the mold of, you know, the standards of society and what looks good and, you know, to be a magazine cover model. I just think that everybody needs to be the healthiest version of themselves. And that doesn't always mean that you're going to weigh 100 pounds, 120 pounds, 130 pounds. It does not always mean that. But prioritizing your gut health, making sure that you are staying active, making sure that your heart, you know, is you know, getting you're raising your heart rate, you know, a couple of times a week so that your body can identify and know how to move through stress is very important. It does not mean that you need to be a size 2 or try to be a 00. I don't agree with that. Right? I just think being the healthiest version of yourself and whatever that means, making sure that you're eating enough fiber, right? Fiber is extremely vitally important. Again, that's connected to your gut health. A lot of people don't even realize that. They say that your brain, your second brain, is in your stomach, right? The happy hormones and all that is connected through your digestive system. So it's very important and vital that people are prioritizing that and not, you know, piling all these extra additives, foods, seed oils, you know, processed foods, sodium, all this stuff into your diet is just not going to give you the healthiest outcome. So again, I know what she's saying about everybody, you know, wants to be skinny and that it's a trend. I get that, but everybody just needs to work towards being the healthiest version of themselves, not letting these people outside, you know, cook for you every single day. Maybe you can prioritize, well, you know, like a couple of times a week, but not every meal is from somebody else. Maybe you need to, you know, work on, you know, preparing the things for you so that you can see what's in it.
Whether they tell you straight up or they go and do it behind your back, like this is them locking in. You know, you locking in and not telling people your next. That's what Remy did. That's what Lizzo did. That's what Nico Avocado did. Right now, even that one girl that eats the Chipotle, I forgot her name, but she went and got her body done. Like, wake up, you guys. Like, literally, people are just using you guys for your, you know, your sympathy. I am so glad I never idealized a plus size influencer, because that's heartbreaking. I don't even know this Remy girl, but I was just looking into it for one day. I already feel sad. Imagine if I was her follower since day one and you were really looking up to this person, and then she goes and gets the surgery and doesn't even tell you. And then one day you just see like, oh my God, she's skinny. And like, yeah. So
I think that, you know, I understand what she's saying, because these people are so coddled in their emotions and they feel like they have representation in front of them, and then that representation completely changes. But I think that should be a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely should be a wake-up call. But also on top of that, you should have never been idolizing another person in the first place. You should have been tapping in with yourself, understanding yourself, you know, believing in yourself, looking inward. You know, like, idolizing another person could be useful at certain points in times in your life, depending on who it is that you're idolizing. And I don't even like using the word idolizing, honestly, but having a certain level of reverence or admiration, or even learning, taking on some level of a distant apprenticeship, right? There's plenty of people who have a lot of information and they share a wealth of this information for free, and you can follow them at a distance, never meet them in person, and be a person who's learned so much from said person. It's like they're your professor, but you never took a course with them, right? You can do that without idolizing. I kind of don't like the word idolize, but for sake of this conversation, you know, I think it's crazy to be a grown-ass adult, to be steered left by wanting to be so much like a celebrity that you just love so much. weird as hell to me. Like Beyonce wear a new color wig, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of chicks with this color wig on. It's like, when are y'all gonna graduate from high school in real life?
Should not be something sad. It should not be something that you look at and say, oh my gosh, how could she do that to us? And now we mad at her and we're not going to support her. It should be a wake-up call, right? That maybe I do need to focus on myself and my health as she did, right? And what's so interesting is that they will follow you if you're doing all the wrong things. They will allow you to be their number one influencer when you are leading them right to the road of toxicity. But as soon as you are working on yourself, healing yourself, growing and evolving, all of a sudden they all got a problem with you because they are not willing to put that work in. They don't want to do that. They don't feel like doing that. It's a problem to them. It's a burden to them to focus and prioritize their health. So why should you do that?
Lock in.
Hold on, we got a question in the chat on Instagram. She says, Momo, shout out Momo. She says, why does her weight matter? The world is so effing sensitive. And I agree with that. I think for me, it's never really about weight. I think weight kind of becomes a easy conversation to have when it's super excessive. When you're talking 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and something like that, 500 pounds, when you're talking about that, that's kind of, that's visible. It's we could talk about it. It's the elephant in the room, literally, pun intended, right? But it's not really about weight. The conversation should always be about health. And that's why people running to go get surgery to appear a certain way doesn't mean that they fixed their insides. It doesn't mean that they've properly parasite detox. It doesn't mean that their gut health is in order. It doesn't mean that they're not constipated anymore. It doesn't mean that they're not pre-diabetic anymore. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means you look smaller. So I think the conversation is always about health, because there are people who have a clean bill of health, a very active lifestyle, and they just eat a certain type of way to where they keep a little bit of meat on their bones. So they a little thicker of a girl, or they're a little, more brolic of a guy. But at the same time, they can go run a mile, right? Without, like, it don't take 15 minutes. They can go run a mile. They can, walk up a flight of stairs without it, absolutely, they got to take a second to get right. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's most important is health. I think your appearance is just, again, an outward manifestation of just how healthy you are oftentimes. You have the people who are Decepticons, high metabolism. They look like skinny as a pencil, but they're actually super unhealthy, but their body just processes everything real fast. Like, you have that small group of anomalies, but oftentimes if you live a very healthy lifestyle, people could just see it when they look at you. You know what I mean? So I think the healthier you are, the less you have to be worried about your body, because the two things kind of go hand in hand. Like, if you eat super clean, you're going to end up with abs, whether you do crunches or not, or at least a flat stomach, super flat. You know what I mean? Like, your appearance is a side effect of the health. Let's get it.
Don't be fat, because even your favorite fat influencer doesn't want to be fat, right? Now they're skinnier than you. That is so sad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, Lizzo is skinnier than a lot of people now. Like, these fat, like, influencers that used to, like, look up to or be like, oh, like, at least I'm not as fat as her, right? Like, all the coping mechanisms now you don't have that anymore. Now you're the fat friend. Now you're the fat person. So don't get left behind. Lock in. Walk your 10,000 steps every day. Follow a clean, healthy diet that you like, whether that's carnivore or keto, whatever you like to do. And yeah, stick to that, because health is wealth.
This chick been giving so much good and bad advice at the same time. I don't recommend carnivore. I don't recommend keto, even though I know both of them work. They both work. I wouldn't recommend either one. Consumption of that much rotten flesh, especially if you live in the United States, because I know I got people watching from all over the world. But if you live in the United States, the meat here is no good, ladies and gentlemen. If you live somewhere else, I might not even be mad at you. That beef you eating, that cow might have died this morning. But here in the United States, a lot of this meat is rotten, like off rip. When you get it from the store thinking you got 3 days left with it, it already was spoiled. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hate to kill y'all joy. I know it tastes good when y'all put that little flavor on it, but vegetables just as fire when you put that same flavor on it. No cap. Mushrooms just as fire when you put that same seasoning on it. No cap. That's why when I cook my food and somebody come to my house and smell me cooking, they think I'm cooking meat. It's the same seasoning. It's just on vegetables. The flavor don't come from the meat. That's why y'all don't eat meat without seasoning. Hello. So this chick talking about, I don't recommend none of that. But I also don't think you got to be purely, you know, vegan or nothing like that. You can dabble in certain animals, but you know, if y'all really trying to eat clean and raw, y'all will be going to go get our organic, like venison, bison. Y'all will be going to go eat like deer meat, shit like that. You know, y'all wouldn't really be messing with these cows and these pigs, you know, and all that, and catfish and all that. That shit, I ain't gonna tell y'all to eat that because I love y'all. I just not gonna tell y'all to eat that. Do what you want. We grown. But I love y'all, so I never recommend that bullshit. You feel me? So this chick been giving some good and bad advice at the same time, but she mean well, and I think that's what's most important for starters. Let's go.
Don't play.
Health is a true wealth. 100% it is. And not just, you know, diet, but like mental health too. Like your health and your solitude within your body is
Shout out to Ken in Abu Dhabi.
100%, you know, the highest thing that you should be prioritizing. 100%. And I agree. You know, a lot of these people, Lizzo has lost a lot of weight. This model's lost a lot of weight. There's tons and tons of people who are doing it. And the thing about it is that I would respect those women who are losing the weight even more if they went on the same campaigns and was telling people like, hey, y'all need to lose weight. Hey, girl, I was comfortable in that size. And then I realized that I was having all these issues. And I was like, no, like, I can't, you know, deal with all these issues. I need to heal myself. And so that's the journey that we're on. And you guys should be on it too. 100%. You know, when she was talking about how the girl was eating like, you know, Chick-fil-A, whatever the case was. And then she was acting like that's how she'd been eating the whole time.
She's showing off the meal, eating fries, showing the brownie she's going to eat at the end, which she never does. Eating a chicken sandwich, she only takes 2 or 3 bites.
Maybe she did have a couple days that she did eat that. But obviously, based on what we saw, that is not what she's been eating every day. Okay? Because she wouldn't have lost not 1 ounce. Not even an ounce. Okay? Not a pound. She would not have lost even an ounce if she was, you know, eating like that on a consistent basis. And I think that a lot of women keep getting their feelings hurt, right? When they watch these people telling them, oh, prioritize the bag and you don't need no man, they get their feelings hurt. Oh, you know, go to school and get the education, be the rich man. You know, you don't gotta, these hypergamous, these high value men don't want to be with you and you're trying to be hypergamous, then just become the man that you can't get. They get their heart broken. You know, eat whatever you want to eat. You know, we can't call you fat or big. That's fat shaming. And so we're going to coddle you and we all going to be big together. Get their heart broken. Like 100%. So it's times like this where I say the same things I always say. It's more vital for these women to pay attention to the women who are telling you what you don't want to hear and it don't feel good, because at least you know they are being honest with you.
Yeah.
Coddling somebody is not love.
Come on now.
Telling somebody what they want to hear, that's not love.
Come on now.
Being honest with you, regardless of how that's going to make you feel, that's true love.
Come on now. All right, so we're going to bring it in off that. And Rivah just cooked, but off that, I'll just say this in closing before we move into the next segment of the live stream. Be tough on yourself, because if you don't, the world will. Moving on.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold.